D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, watch the latest episode of the Orville, and I have thoughts. I just want to say a couple of things about this before I get into my breakdown. But first off, it's very refreshing to see, competent sci-fi writing. I constantly talk about New Trek and how the writing on that is just bad. It's just god awful. And I think that this show, I think Seth MacFarlane really understands, this is very, Star Trek kind of show, but it's tackling a lot of serious subjects going on right now, but in a better way that New Trek is. And I just sometimes I just want to, those Star Trek writers of today, I just want to be all like, if you guys would just, take this for an example and just, try to focus on better storytelling, you could do better writing just like this show. Like I said, it's very refreshing to get sci-fi writing that's good. Also, they're tackling the subject of this one was, I felt it very much so being a parent. And I have thoughts. So I want to I'll get into those as we get into the scenes where they take place. And it's a very tough subject, especially with this, and it tackles what they kind of already talked about this. They talk about transitioning kind of and transitioning, but in a different way in this episode. So now that I've got that nonsense out of the way, let's I gotta tell you okay. If you guys like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up with their algorithm, and small channels like mine really do get pushed to the back of the line. So I please ask that you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so now that I got the business out of the way, let's get on to this episode, okay? So it starts off on this temple. Now, this temple is very cool looking. I was like, look at that and everything. And they subverted my expectations because I thought that it would be about this temple and what the goings on and stuff like that, but it was not. So they're here and they're just Kelly is sitting here and they're like, hey, we didn't find anything on the walls. It's just all the walls are blank and everything, but yeah, I can't remember if she says it or if Burke says it, but anyways, so Burke, they find this chamber and they're like, this is where we think that all the stuff is at. And we get this really cool alien looking guy. That's this show has these aliens and these like little snippets here, but I and the same thing with, like, for instance, Discovery and Picard for that matter. I wish they had more alien races on the show as like main characters. In this one we get Bortus and everything, but he's the only one, and I wish they would do more, like get like maybe like a couple more aliens in the main cast. That would be nice, but they don't. And I get it, it's fine, but at the same time, yeah, do they always have to be human? Anyways, so it's like you get your token alien in every episode, or on every main crew, bridge cast and everything. So Isaac lets off the booby trap and everything, and then they go inside and they find the treasure of Alibaba and all that crap. It's very cool looking, but that's the end of that. So they're in they're talking about all the stuff and everything that they found, and there's going to be a science team that comes and picks it up and everything. And they're going to study it and everything. And they're going to take over. So inside the holodeck, Topa is doing a simulation, and he's running the simulation, and it fails, and he gets upset. And then Kelly comes in, and Topa goes, hey, can I want to apply for the union. And Kelly's like, hey, why don't tomorrow you come in my quarters or my office and you can shadow me. I got to get approval, but you can shadow me, and see what it's going to be like. And Topa's all like, I would like that kind of thing. So then the next day, Topa shows up at Kelly's office, and Kelly's explaining how her job, one of the things she has to do is she has to learned how to bridge the gap because the union has so many species in it that there's so many different cultures. And Kelly's obviously talking about the problem that they're going to right now. And we get this really cool alien looking, which is obviously CGI. But again, I really wish they would put more aliens on the show, not in the background, yeah. But I do like that we get to see Mocklins again. We always get to see Mocklin because of Bortus and everything. But I would like to see other aliens. I know. I'm gonna stop us talking about it. Okay. So they get here. I'm not quite sure. But obviously some kind of security or something. And he's all like, we got a problem. And they're talking about this alien right here. I don't know what alien species this is, but it's very cool. We're gonna get off his butt. I like aquatic creatures and everything. I do like this species. I'm like, I'd like to see more of this species. So she goes to talk. I don't remember the lieutenant's name, and I'm sorry I didn't write it down. But they're sitting here talking to him, and he says on his world, the religion, the first of the month, every religion, on his world, their religion is that the first of the month you don't wear clothes. You don't cover your body up or whatnot. And Kelly's like, hey, do you think there could be a compromise that would fit our union rules, but also be respectful to your religion? And he's all like, what do you suggest? And she's all like, if you put on pants, we'll call it a day. And he's all like, that sounds reasonable. And she's like, thank you. So then they're back in, they're not back in, they're in engineering, and Topa, explains that she's shadowing Kelly. And this woman, I don't know her name, sorry, is like, good for you. And then the other alien, that guy that's like, ooh, blah, blah, that guy, he makes me so happy. I could have him in every episode. I didn't get a screenshot of him, but he's got like the bubbles and everything. Every time he talks, I want to see him like in a serious manner, but with his voice, like we're all gonna die, but he'll be like, blah, blah, blah. It's so funny. It makes me laugh. I love it. Anyways, so then Kelly and Topa, they step aside, and Topa talks about how she feels, less than, and she doesn't feel like she's whole, kind of thing, and that she wants to join the union. I keep wanting to say Starfleet. She wants to join the union because she doesn't feel whole. And Kelly, and real quick, I forgot to mention, if you remember, I believe it was season 1. I'm pretty sure it was season 1. It might have been season 2, but I'm like 95% sure it was season 1. But if you remember when Bortus and what's his husband's name? Kylan, when they were having their baby, Topa, in the egg, Topa was born female. And on Mockless, there's only males. And if you remember, and they'll bring it back up in a hologram, but they had the trial, and then I don't remember the female Mocklin's name. But showed up and was like, but they were like an important writer and everything. But they showed up and was like, hey, I was born female, and I need to be my true self, kind of thing. So anyways, she's talking about how she doesn't feel, like a person. I can't remember her exact words, but she doesn't feel whole. And Kelly's very saddened by this, because Kelly's all like, she's born a girl, she feels like a girl. Now, this is a present day thing going on, and a lot of people like to make it political and everything, but with like transitioning and feeling all that kind of stuff, but Kelly is she feels sympathy towards Topa, because she's like, I can't say anything, but I need to do something about this. So the doctor and the captain, Mercer Finn, they're discussing, the health of the crew and everything. And Kelly comes by and she says, hey, listen, Topa came to me with this. I don't know what to do, because I can't say anything, but I feel like something should be done, because obviously Topa is going through something psychologically, and I feel like we should do something about it. So like, why don't you, and the doctor suggests, well, why don't you bring her, but I'm just going to call her because spoiler, they end up, transitioning back. Oh, sorry. Back in the trial, they altered the DNA of Topa to be male. So she's all like, why don't you bring Topa by and I'll have a conversation with it? And Kelly's like, I don't feel like that's the right choice because I feel like maybe Topa might see that as a betrayal because I, told her secret. So she's like, why don't you go and talk to Bortus and Kaiden and see what they say? So they're having dinner and Kelly shows up and she's like, I gave her a job during dinner because I wanted to talk to you guys. And Kaiden is very aggressive, which I was like, Kaiden, you don't need to be right off the bat so aggressive. Okay. Calm it down. Because if you remember, Kaiden was born female and they altered his DNA to male. And he brings that up. And she says, and she tells them, listen, Topa brought this situation, so told me this situation. Maybe we should, I wonder if you guys should talk to it. And Kaiden's like straight up like, no, we are not going to tell Topa. Topa will be fine. And Bortus is obviously going through something like this. Now, I think Kelly up to this point has done everything correctly. She went to her supervisors and then she went to the parents and talked to them about it. And at this point, she's obviously upset with Kaiden, but Kaiden has the right as a parent to be, but jumping right off the bat and being aggressive about it is not the way to go about it. Trust me, I know. You just take a step back, try to come to some kind of compromise and everything. You should have been like, listen, thank you for bringing this to us. We're going to talk to this as Topa's parents, and then we will decide what to do. So she leaves and they have a conversation. And Kaiden again is so angry about this. And I think that he, has, because of his experience, he's like, I wish I didn't know that I was born a female. And they're sitting here talking about it and everything. And Kaiden's like, we are not going to tell Topa. So then Kelly, Topa comes in and tells Kelly that she's not allowed to hang out with her anymore. And she's like, okay. And I can't remember exactly what else she says. I'm sorry. I didn't write it down, but, I feel bad for this kid. As a parent, you listen, as a parent, I try my hardest. I try so hard. My wife is sometimes my wife gives me crap and I'll be like, listen, I'm doing my best. Like some days you just fail. You just fail because you can't get a win every day. But sometimes I'm like, listen, babe, I'm doing my best. And she always goes, that's what scares me. This is your best. And I was like, like you, anyways. So Topa, she goes into this isn't engineering. What is this? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. And she's talking to the crew and everything, and they're talking about this species, and they pull up a hologram of this species, and they're like, to think this species has been dead for thousands of years or something like that and everything. And I was like, and when they pulled this up, I was like, this is a really cool looking species. I wish that this species was on the show now. Yeah. More aliens. Come on, guys. So then Topa goes to talk to Isaac and she talks to him about when he tried to commit suicide. And she's like, what did it feel like to be dead? And he's like, it felt like the opposite of being alive. And I was like, well, way to narrow it down. And she talks to him like, did you feel, I believe she said, did you feel at peace? Long story short, Isaac, red flag, goes to Kelly and he's like, I believe that Topa is expressing feelings of taking her own life. And this, Kelly is, distressed about this, and rightfully so. And Isaac did the right thing here also. So far, everybody is doing the right thing, except for Kylon getting a little bit upset. So then Kelly goes to talk to Topa and she's like, I'm not supposed to be talking to you. She's like, I totally understand. And she's all like, but I believe she's like, just wanted to see how you're doing and everything. And then she's like, you know what? I always do to help, me out. I always have a piece of cake, but she names the cake and it's a Mocklin cake. I'm sorry. I don't remember what it's called and I didn't write it down because I needed to get this video out and I'm already late and my kids are driving me mental today. Today's the day where I'm failing because they're driving me mental. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Anyways, so they're watching Bluey right now. I love that show. Anyway, so she's like, I might have a piece later. And she's like, but there's like a bunch of different recipes. I find if you do a little research, you can find what you're looking for. Now, here's where I think Kelly might have overstepped in terms of what she should do. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So then she goes back to her quarters and she pulls up the computer and she pulls up the cake. That's the cake. It doesn't look very good to me, but whatever. It might be delicious. Kimbak, because it says it right there. Kimbak. Anyways, and she's like that, and the computer's like, there are 32 files on Kimbak and everything. And she's like, are there any other files on Kimbak? And she's like, yes, there's one, but it's password protected. So she makes gets a piece of Kimbak and she's starting to eat it, and then a password pops up on the screen. Now, at first I thought this was Kelly sending her the password. And I immediately went like, if that Kelly sent her the password, that right there is overstepping. That is inappropriate right there. Yeah, just right off the bat, I was like that. You went over, like you telling her to check out the Kimbak cake was you stepping right up on that line, and you sending her the password was stepping over it. We find out later she did not send her the password. So I was like, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Kelly, you crossed that line. You crossed that line. But she did not. So she finds the file and she reads all about herself, and she's rightfully angry. This guy, he ate something that was delicious and he got this rash, and I'm all like, I would have done the same thing. I don't have really any I'm not really allergic to anything, but if I was like say like lactose intolerant, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna not eat ice cream. I don't care how much I'm crapping all day, I'm eating ice cream anyways. So I'm sorry, I'm taking way too long on these stupid tangents. So Bortis, so then oh crap, so then she comes in, and I believe I didn't get it. Is that all I got from that? Man, sorry, that's all I got. But they're talking about how I can't remember what happens here. Sorry, I'm sorry. So Bortis, Kaiden's all like, Topa didn't meet me for this game. I can't remember what this name is called, but remember the episode? They're playing this game and it's like hot potato, but then the captain is like, I believe it's in season 2. You guys, I'm sorry. I don't remember the last 2 seasons. I told myself I'm going to try to watch them before this season's over with, but I might not be able to deliver on that promise. So I'm trying to remember all the details, but I remember this because it made me laugh when it happened so hard. So remember they're like passing it around like hot potato, and then the captain gets in. He's like, so what do? We just keep passing this thing, and then the knife goes through his hand. He's like, and then they're like, Buckjaw and everything. And I remember laughing so hard at that because they were so excited when they were passing it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so good. But this is a horrible game to play with your child. Just saying, maybe a little bit of bad parenting. I don't care how culturally it is for the Mocklins. It's bad parenting, a knife go through your kid's hand. Anyways, so they go back. She's mad. She's like, why didn't you tell me? And then they're like, she's like, you should have told me. And he's like, it wouldn't have done anything. We were doing this to protect you. And Bortis is like, obviously upset. And I can't remember if now he tells them, but he sent her the password. It was Bortis. Now, I just want to say at this point in time, Bortis was in the wrong. As a parent, you gotta talk about this stuff. And if you don't agree to it, you gotta talk about it until you come to a compromise. Bortis is in the wrong here. I'm not saying he's in the wrong for sending his child the password, but he still is in the wrong for not discussing and coming to a compromise with his partner, with his husband. That me and my wife, we do not make decisions on our own, little decisions, but when it comes to big decisions, when it comes to our children, we do not make them on our own unless it's on the fly and like we needed to do it. Like for instance, signing our kid up for summer school. my wife made the decision on the fly because she, it was like we needed to know right then and there because the spot opened, and we decided yes. So I can't. So then I can't remember exactly what it said here. Sorry, I should have wrote it down because it was an important scene. But then Kaiden goes to talk to Kelly because he thinks she sent the password. Okay, so he must not have told him about the password. So he's like, "You overstepped the bounds," and she's like, "I just told her to look up kimbap cake," and she found the rest on her own. And she's like, "I did not send her the password," and then he's like, "I have a right to punch you in the face," and she's like, you can try to punch me in the face and everything. So long story short, he does try, and she puts him up against the wall, and she's like, "I'm going to pretend that didn't happen, and you're going to leave my office, and you're never going to come back to my office again." And she's like, "If you ever try to put your hands on another union officer, I'll have you arrested." I can't remember exactly what she said. And she's in the right. He shouldn't have attacked her. Attacking people is wrong. I have 2 kids. I understand his being upset. She went right on that line of it. And being a parent, it's like, I get it. He's being Papa Bear. I get it. So now she's all like, "Man, what is going on here?" But she's like, she's feeling like, did I do the right thing? And it's a sticky situation. So he comes, he's like, "I sent the password to my daughter," and he's all like, and I feel so bad for Bortus. I know these are fake characters, but I feel so bad for Bortus because he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. He loves his husband and he wants to do what's right for his culture, his people, and his marriage. But then he has his daughter on one hand that he's all like, she's suffering, and I can alleviate that suffering by doing this small thing and by telling her the truth. And I understand both sides of the situation. Kaiden thinks that he's protecting her. Bortus doesn't think that it's right. And it's like, it's such a complex situation that it's like, what do you do? But they're not doing enough communicating between each other. They're just, I'm sorry, like their marriage is, there's something going on. There's something wrong with their marriage because they're not talking about this enough. Communication, and listen, if you're not married, communication is key. It is key. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah, I love talking to my wife. I love hearing her voice, all that stuff, and it's always good to get a new set of eyes on everything. And Bortus and, anyways. Okay. So, and he starts crying because he's like, I just, I was just like, "Oh, Bortus, I understand. I'm sorry, buddy." So the doctor's talking to him, and Topa wants to have the DNA stuff reversed and wants to be female. But they're like, but union rules are they don't need to have both parents. Hold on. I can't remember what they say here because then hold on. They talk about it. Oh, okay. Here we go. Hold on. She says that she wants to have the surgery to be reversed back into a female. And she comes to talk to her, and Topa is all like, I see other women, but none of them are Mocklins. And she's all like, "I want to show you something." So she takes her to the holodeck and she shows her that trial. And this is, I don't remember the name of the character, but it's played by Rena Owen. And I love Rena Owen. She's so great. She's so freaking cute, that Rena Owen. Yeah, she's great. Yeah, I just really, I have nothing but nice things to say about Rena Owen. She also voices a character in that new Bad Batch. Doesn't matter. Anyways, okay. So moving on. She shows her that speech and how she's proud to be a woman and everything, and this is who she is, and there's nothing wrong with her. It was a good speech, still played out. Yeah. So then, and she's like super happy about it and everything. And she's like, so then I think this is where they go. And she says, "I want to have the surgery." So then they're sitting here talking. Kaiden's no go on the surgery. Bortus is all like, "I want her to have the surgery. If that's what she wants, I want her to be female." And the doctor is all like, the doctor and the captain, they're all like, listen, according to union rules, she can do it with just one parent giving the okay. They don't need both parents to give the okay. And then Bortus is all like, yeah, but we face another problem, Captain. So then they have a conversation with this admiral. And the admiral's like, no go on the surgery because things are already tense. And if you do this surgery, the Mocklins might leave the Union, and we cannot afford for them to leave. We will, with the Kylons, now the Krill leaving the Union with the treaty with the Union, they're facing the Kylons by themselves and they don't have the Krill. And if they lose the Mocklins, they'll for sure lose the war with the Kylons. And so they're like, listen, I sympathize, but no go on that surgery. The answer is no. So then they're like, sorry, we can't do the surgery. And she's upset and I feel bad for her, what are you gonna do? So back on here, the doctor just Burke is not, I like this Burke. I think her name is Burke. I really like this character and I really like this actress. I hope that she's gets an episode of her own. She's had moments and everything, but I really would like an episode to focus on her. We'll see. If not, it's cool. The show's doing great anyways. So then the doctor decides, she's all like, listen, I'm going to resign my post so I can do the surgery. Therefore, I'm no longer a union officer. And they're like, but you've devoted your life to the union and doing good works here as the doctor. And she's like, yeah, but this is really important to me. And I want to do this for Topa. And so then compromise, Isaac goes all like, hey, why don't I do the surgery? Because I'm not a part of the union. And, I'm Kylon and everything. And they're like, can you do the surgery? And he's like, well, I'm an AI. Of course I can do the surgery. Anything you can do, I can do better. Duh. And then the captain's all like, yeah, but if any of us knows about this, that would break the rules also. So we'd have to do it at a time and place where everybody was distracted and we didn't know about it. So then the captain announces that Bortus is going to put on a little concert, a little singing concert, and anybody that's interested can show up. And then they get the list, and what's her face? Kylie is all like, man, you're a hot ticket. And I'm all like, I don't see how. I mean, and I was like, Bortus better be knocking out some of the notes and everything. He did not. I was like, you're okay. You're not exactly, Michael Bublé and everything. I'm not a huge fan of Michael Bublé, but that type of music. He's a very good singer though. So everybody's showing up. Everybody's coming to this concert. I'm like, good for you, Bortus. You have fans. Now this part right here, he's all like, I'm going to be singing the doctor's song, one of her favorites or whatever. And her son starts playing the thing and he turns out, he's like, that key is too high. And I was like, that made me laugh so hard. Anyways, so he starts singing this song, there was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy, and everything. And he did all right. He's, I'm not going to sit here and be all like, he's, a professional singer, but he did all right. Yeah. So then Isaac comes to get Topa and takes him to the hospital wing to the med bay. And he's all like, we're going to do the surgery now. And Kaiden comes in. He's all like, Topa, we're leaving. He's like, you need to leave now. Now here's where I'm all like, as a parent, if something was happening to my child that I did not agree to, I would be pissed and I wouldn't have left. Isaac would have had to have killed me but I mean, in this situation, it would have been completely different, but I'd have just been straight up like, I'm not leaving. I'm like, you are literally going to have to incapacitate me / kill me before I leave this fucking room without my kid. So you better get ready to tussle, Kylon. But he hurts him and then he ends up leaving and they do the surgery while this concert is going on. And she wakes up and she's female. Now, I just want to say two things. One, I don't see a very big difference. Two, you could tell a female was a girl was playing this part the whole time, because when women play men, they don't carry themselves like men do. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. There's a complete difference in everything, but she's happy. Good for her. So then the science crew show up to check out that temple along with the admiral, and she's pissed. She's like, I thought I told you not to do this surgery. And he's like, we didn't know about the surgery. And she's all like, listen, if you didn't know about it, she's like, listen, not only are you insubordinate, but you're also incompetent because you didn't know about a surgery taking place on your own ship, Captain. And she's all like, and they're like, are the Mocklins leaving the Union? She's like, no. She's like, they're not leaving the Union, but tension is high. The fact that the tension is high, but they're not leaving because they know they can't defeat the Kylons by themselves. And it doesn't hurt that a Kylon did this to this little girl. But still, she's like, if you ever do this again, you're gone. You're done with this ship, Captain. And then as she's leaving, she's all like, and give the Mocklin girl my regards or whatever. And I'm all like, yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, but Kaiden told Bortus that if he allows this surgery to go on, he will leave him. And that I don't agree with. Do not give ultimatums. Me and my wife, I know I keep bringing up my marriage, but as far as this goes, I have experience. Me and my wife, I told my wife, do not give me ultimatums. I will pick whatever one you don't want to, just out of spite, because you gave me an ultimatum. And I tell her all the time, I will never give you an ultimatum. That I don't like ultimatums. There's gotta be a middle ground. There has to be. It doesn't always have to be one or the other. So then Topa, so Kaiden's leaving. He's leaving Bortus. And I was like, man, this is so sad that this is happening. And he's not even talking to him. And then as Kaiden's leaving, he says, because then she's like, Papa, you don't go, kind of thing. And I was like, oh my God, this is so sad. Kaiden says something really awful to his child. He says, I wish you were never born. And I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. What kind of a parent are you? What kind of a father are you that you would say that to your child? And I know there's people out there that are like that, but I'm all like, geez, oh, Pete. I'm like, man, I was like, I would not say that to my child. Like, I don't think there's anything that my child could do to make me say that. I'm like, man. So then Isaac, the doctor comes in and she's all like, Isaac, you stepped up and I appreciate that. And I can't remember exactly all that they say. I'm sorry. But she's like, you want to go on a date? He's like, yeah. So then Topa's eating her kimbap cake, all happy go lucky. And they're like, we need you to come to the bridge. So she comes to the bridge. And they're like, do you want to take us into light speed or what do they call it? Quantum. She's like, I would like that. And she's all like, and she's like, oh, she got a tear in her eye because she's all happy and everything. And it's very obvious they made the right choice because look, she's happy. And I just want to be all like, yeah. And she takes him into quantum, and then that's the end of the episode. Now, in the real life situation, now this was a good episode. In real life situation, I have very much my own opinion about subjects like this with my own children. I'm not going to share them with you though, because I feel like when it comes to kids these days and all that stuff, it's been turned very political to the point where it's just gotten so bad out there. It's like there's not even any kind of like sitting down and talking about it. But me as a parent, I'm all like, when it comes to the well-being of my child, I'm the final decision kind of thing, or me and my wife are. But yeah, no, this was a good episode. I really liked it. I love this show. Like I said before, it's refreshing to get good sci-fi writing out there. Yeah, I don't know. And it's really weird talking about this, especially with you guys, because we have like a parasocial relationship. So, I don't want to get too deep into my thoughts on some of this stuff because it doesn't matter. I'm probably pissing off half of you anyways, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, so though that's my breakdown of this episode. I'm sorry. One of the negatives I have are these episodes are very long. I mean, they're over an hour, and it's not even like it's not like I'm complaining about that because everybody's always like, oh, it's not enough, episode. But sometimes I'm all like, man, you guys have said this, twice now, but just different times, both times. And I was like, maybe you could have condensed those scenes. Anyways, all right, you guys, that's my breakdown and review of this episode. Tell me what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you think this subject was way too heavy, too soon, even though they filmed this a while ago? Tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next Orville breakdown review. You guys have a good week. Bye.